All right, well, normally I do this in the privacy of my own home, so you might get to see it, I hope. But I thought I'd look at some of the things that we did. So for instance, the mini-sloths, how do you do it? I'm not sure how you do it. I mean, I've been going back and looking at it all, and seeing if we could find all the bits, because it's a process. At some point I started with nothing, and that's the hardest thing. And you have an idea, okay, well let's do interlocking rhythms. Okay, so. Can you see that? Oy vey. Here we go. Oh, okay, here we go. So, when I look back on all this, I think, well, what's that? And so, and I've got no sound at the moment. This is exactly like one of my sessions. I mean, one of the things I do on the session is, basically we have a mic set up, singers come, I have no idea what I'm going to do normally, and I sit in Logic, and they normally, sort of the first half an hour, they drink coffee while I try and get my shit together. And then we always start. Okay, so this is just like... So probably to do that, I would have slowed it down, I think. I honestly can't remember. But you start to sort of build up the rhythm. Until you get to the point where you kind of have these kind of things, I think. Right, so, I mean, one of the things is I exhaust the singers by doing it over and over and over again. And one of the questions is, well, A, why, and do you really need to? And probably the answer is, because I can. And do you need to? Probably not. I'd probably stop with like 4 tracks maybe, but it always sounds better when I start, doing. So one is, okay, that's great. That's probably 4 singers. So we do another track. Then we do another track. Then I'll probably tell them to, can you face the other way now, please? Okay, can you face the other way now, please? Again, and again. And you see, at this point, even you're getting bored. So, by the end of it, hopefully sounds... Okay, well, fine. It probably would have sounded okay with just 4, but I like that, so I would keep going, And then we'll do another part. And again, 8 times. Now then, some of these are... I used to do them in multiples, of 4s and 8s. And then I started to realise I needed one for the centre, so now I do everything in 3. So you do an LCR. What else have we got here? Now, there's a fair amount of editing, that sort of thing. But basically, it's just... There's one part here, there's another part. And this is achieved by everybody getting naked, and then... No, that was a totally different thing. So then, what we might have done is, over here, I might have some of the... That's the same thing, that's not very interesting. Okay, what the hell is that? So by the looks of it, this is all, admittedly I would have sped some of this up. And so the original part would have been... And then I would cut it down and probably sped it up, so we ended up with something a bit crazier. And then, what else did we do on this one? Well, then I did solos, I remember now. No, that isn't a solo. Oh yeah, so this all came about by So we had, you know, Sid. We had just a load of. He didn't do a specific session for this. I was just sent anything from the previous films that Sid had done where he was hurting himself. And so I just, the whole thing began really with me just looking for bits, and once I found those, I kind of laid them out. And then I just got everybody to just do the same thing. So, well, that's all been processed. So. But the Sid...
Hey!
So all from totally different takes and things like that. So, and then we recorded against that, and that allowed us to. I'm lost now. This session's so big, Jesus. What's that? I looked at that before. It's boring. So back here's the original. Here we go. So as you see, there would have been 8 tracks, maybe 16 tracks that would go into that, and then I'd bounce it down and bring it in here to another song. Oh, well, then yes, that's right. And then we got one of our singers took some drugs, and I cut that into pieces. There's a lot of coffee that day. Okay, then there's another group, more ladies. You know, I mean, things like that. I didn't know what the hell I was doing at the time, so I'd just get them to sing lines. I'd just say, you know, just try this line, that line, and they'd dutifully sing it. And you know, and we'd make up words as we went. But these are all bounces, so I'd make them do it 20 times, you know. So it's mind-bending, really, to think that we actually did this and they paid us to do it. But, you know, then you end up with... you know, and so it goes on. So. Truffle of Value, let's have a look at that one. So again, this is, I don't want to just make it seem like I only use stupid sounding voices, but this is another one with stupid sounding voices. So the previous one was not pitch changed, but it was sped up. This one was definitely pitch changed. And so this is a stylistic change that occurred simply because of a change in the software. Until, I don't know when it was, 2008, Logic couldn't do vari-speed, old-fashioned vari-speed. And then the software got updated and it could. And so, you know, not wanting to miss out on a totally new feature, we went in and this is truly how things happen. It's not done with brain, it's often done with just kind of nerdiness. So each of those parts would have been etc. And then another part. But quite often, actually, we would, I think, where is it? So I think sometimes we would try it out in group and then work it out in the group, work out the parts. And then I'd separate everybody out. So you layer it very carefully. So, you know, just doing a choral part like that is, I think that's everybody at the same time, probably. Oh no, parts, okay. In that case, parts. But what I do is, you can't quite see that. I'll bring that over here. This is just a MIDI part, so you get, oh, cool. Where does that go? So let's look at the MIDI. So that isn't really much to look at, those MIDI parts, but you just sketched out on the piano. The great thing was that what I discovered early on is that you didn't need to sort of do it properly. You could just do some old bollocks just 5 minutes before everyone arrived. Print this out, give it to Edie, she would take it down, everyone would like start singing, and it would be great. And that is just shorthand that I can't tell you how useful that is, because that saves hours. Hours and hours. So, but this one was really quite intricate, actually. When I looked at it, I was thinking, holy cow, how do we do that? There's some really crazy stuff going on. So all these, they do exist. You'll see them in MIDI there as they go past, I think. If I can figure out how to get that to play. Come on, there you are. You're hiding. No, it's not going to work, is it? Jesus Christ. Masterclass my arse. See, look, there is, that's actually written down, would you believe? You see? And they sang it. They sang it. I mean, it's great. You can just, you fiddle, it comes out there, you give it to them, they sing. It's wonderful. So, very easy. Very easy, indeed. Okay, let's look at something else. Oh, yes, while we're on this thing, this made me laugh. And John was asking me about things that made me laugh. There was a moment when they needed a spy, the fish, the humming fish, to sing a spy theme. So we tried various ones. We ended up with Mission Impossible because it's more famous. But, just to amuse myself, we did this. One of the most important things about screenwriting is not to speak the subplot, or so the meaning of any storytelling is more beautifully told when the audience understands the story better than the characters. Okay, so subplot's very important. So you never ever speak the subplot. I personally thought that there was nothing but spoken subplot in Hurt Locker, but that's just my decision. So, anyway, but here, hidden in the tracks, you see, was the very dangerous part, which is the whole subplot to the Bourne Identity.
What's my name? What's my name? What's my name? I don't know. What's my name? No idea.
So then, you know, that silly voice is great, but then one of the other things you can do is you can have a giant choir here, and they can sing anything. They can sing anything, absolutely anything. You've got to look at this stuff. I was looking at it the other day thinking, how the hell do we get here? But what you'll hear is, so this is from X-Men, and it's women only, admittedly. You know, the men are totally the same, they can sing anything you like, but I just happen to have a fetish, so. At this point, you really think, don't go any higher, John. Don't go. No. There's no very speed in this one. No very speed in this one. No. And by the way, what happened was, if I show you the MIDI for this, so you'll see all this. And it's not exactly, you know, hard, but... Now the rhythms are different because right at the last moment I suddenly decided to do it in Latin. It was all R's, and then it just didn't sound so much fun. So, so we grabbed a, you know, kind of, we got on Google Latin, and we made up some stuff, and added it in. So, and right at the last minute, right on the session, like that, it's great. All the rhythms had to be changed, but basically on the words, but we just did it on the fly. We also change a lot of stuff on the sessions when you hear it. That's a great thing. Is if you've got a group of musicians or singers who are kind of, well, I play the dots, whatever you want on the dots, okay, that's great. You have to be a bit more organised. I love the fact that what I can do is I can hear it. They sing it once, and I suddenly realise I need to change that tune, which I did there. I realised let's move a few things, fiddle around with it, and you can really, once the singers are singing it, then you can really hear it for how it should be, and you can, and immediately my mind pops exactly the changes I need to make. And if they're not flexible, then you're stuck. You're losing time hand over fist. With this, it's like, okay, you just give them the, you know, just tell them one part all at the same time. Don't go through the conductor because it'll take forever. Just everybody's got headphones on. Just speak directly to them. Get there straight away. I said, oh, can we do it up the octave? Now, the answer should have been no, you idiot. But what we got was, if I can just solo them again. Sorry, I've lost my collar. Green. So that's, you know. So then, the end of Happy Feet, you heard a bit of it, I Wish. It's one of those things where the director says to you, okay, we have 35,000 penguins. We're rendering 35,000 penguins. Can you give me a demo of I Wish with 35,000 penguins? Okay, well, this is what we did. And again, this is all the same people, by the way. Doing the choir, doing the high stuff, doing the low stuff. It's all the same people. They can read, and then you'll hear this. It's all the same people. Incredible. So let's see. So, oh, how wonderfully musical the piano is. Funky as hell, you see. And this is all they got, I think. Oh, yeah.
Sneaking out the back door to hang out with those hoodlum friends of mine. I gotta hang out with those hoodlum friends of mine. Come on! Greeted at the back door. Boy, I thought I told you not to go outside. I told you, boy, not to go outside. Oh. Try your best to bring the water to your eyes. Thinking it might stop her from whipping your behind. I wish those days could come back once more. Why did those days end? But I had to go. I wish those days could have needed come back once more. Why did those days end? But I had to go. I love it so.
So, I mean, obviously, all that's in the original. All that's, obviously, it's in the brass parts and everything. I don't think we invented anything. I mean, maybe a little bit of this and that, but you know, just being able to extricate it using ears. I mean, I did some of it in MIDI, just in advance, and I think Edie kind of looked at it as well beforehand. But then the funny thing was that then so to stack it, to make it really sound big, so I did two things. One of which was while I was in Australia, they, I shouldn't be talking about Australian choirs, but I did get the opportunity of working with 600-piece choir. And they were great for some things, and they were definitely great for making a big noise because there were 600 of them. But they obviously couldn't all have headphones. We couldn't get 600 headphones, so we had to sort of stand on a big thing and just wave at them and try and get them in time. And this is what they sound like. And they're, you know, obviously they're Australian, so they're not that funky, you know, like it's a bit like piano. So, but this is so I wanted a crowd sound, you see, like this is. Okay, very good. Yes, keep it in the groove, please. So deep in the pocket there. But one of the great things one of the greatest moments of me for me was I managed to persuade them to give me an 80-piece gospel choir here. And so this is the gospel choir. This is all at the same time, by the way. Everyone at the same time.
Looking back on when I was a little nappy-headed boy. Then my only worry was for Christmas what would be my toy.
So this was, again, we started with a idea, let's have Bruno Mars write a song. But Bruno Mars didn't want to write a song, so on Rio 2. So what happens is that Schmucko here is told, oh, don't worry, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to do anything. And then at 5 o'clock, they say, oh, we've got a session with Bruno at 7. Is there a backing track you could do? So I knocked up a backing track, and lo and behold, it did sort of become a song. He then wrote a great tune over the top of it and words. So we wrote a song. Great. Okay. Now then, I had some Brazilians who happened to be in town for to record some of their songs for the movie, but they had fantastic sort of vocal noises, and so I managed to put them on. So we just kind of did a few layers and then put bits and pieces, looped stuff like that. But then I needed, now this was the same choir that was doing all the classical choir on the rest of the score. So I needed some choir and asked them to kind of be a bit more gospelly and. If you put it all together, it hopefully works with a bit of his lordship as well.
I said, welcome, welcome, welcome back.
John Powell. The miraculous John Powell.